This week's curry is what I like to think of as a luxurious curry, a lamb pasanda. First thing is to turn on the gas. Now I must just explain that when I set the gas level, I am referring to a domestic hob, as the one that I use here has about 4 times the heat level and an 8-inch flame. But the stated settings are for you to use at home. So as per usual, I'm going to allow the pan to heat up. Now this is best practice because it enables the pan to get to such a good temperature that most things aren't going to stick to the pan, and that's what we want. So the first thing to add is 1 chef spoon of seasoned oil. To this I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of ginger garlic paste. The temperature of this pan is extremely hot at this point, so make sure that you keep stirring, otherwise the garlic and ginger paste will burn in the pan, and if that happens, it's game over. The next to add is 1.5 chef spoons of tomato paste. Again, this may ignite, removing it from the heat source, and it will soon extinguish. I've now added 1 teaspoon of fenugreek leaves and mixed powder, half a teaspoon of chili powder and a pinch of salt, and a 3/4 ladle of base gravy. The idea here is just to keep everything cooler, or just enough so the spices won't burn in the pan. As we are beyond the point where the spices are going to burn in the pan, we can increase the temperature up to full. We're just going to leave it for a short while, just for it to thoroughly cook through the spices to release all their aromatics into the actual curry. Now I'm going to add 1 full ladle of base gravy at this point, and I'm going to just stir this in. Now I have turned the gas up to full because we're beyond the point of things burning. I did say at the beginning of this video that I regard this curry as being a luxurious curry, and here is why. I'm going to be adding 1 small glass of red wine, which is 150 millilitres. Now I'm using red wine because it's a red meat such as lamb, but if you're going to have something like chicken, then you could also use a white wine instead. But the idea is to make this very much a luxurious curry and give it that specific taste that pasanda has. To this I'm now going to add 8 to 10 pieces of pre-cooked lamb. As I said, you could use chicken instead, but then you'd have to use different ingredients such as the white wines. I'm just going to stir these in. Time for a little bit of housekeeping, I think. I'm now going to add 2 teaspoons of granulated white sugar. Now this is just to make it a little bit sweeter. And further to this, 3 tablespoons of ground almond powder. Now this is why it's becoming a very rich curry. We've not only got the sweetness of the sugar, but we now have the ground almonds. And this together with that red wine is really going to make it luxurious. I'm going to stir in 4 dessert spoons of Greek yogurt. Now the reason I use Greek yogurt instead of just standard is because it's thicker, it's creamier, and I think it goes much better with curry. But that's just my personal opinion. If you prefer to use just standard yogurt, then please do so. I've just turned the gas down just a tad because I want to make sure that the curry where all the ingredients are cooked through and simmer quite nicely now, but I don't want to curdle the yogurt that has just been previously put in. So I've just turned it down to reduce the heat slightly. But as you can see, it's still very hot and is bubbling up nicely. Now, the art of cooking a good curry isn't always just what you are doing, but what you don't do. And this is a prime example. What you should be doing at this point is just doing nothing. Just let the pan heat up, let the ingredients cook out. This is the best way to cook the curry. And most curries, you're always going to need a certain amount of time where you just leave it alone, do nothing. As with all the videos, I do a lot of scraping around the edges. Now this isn't just for show, purely for the basis of making sure that all the spices are retained into the actual curry itself. Now I've just added a little bit more sugar into this so it gives it that nice sweetness at the end. And of course, I've got to do the obligatory housekeeping. I'm now adding the last ladle. It's another full ladle of the base gravy. Again, just stir it all in and make sure that it's fully dispersed within the curry. So it's really just a matter of now just allowing the curry to cook in the pan and for the pan to do its thing. So I've now reduced it down, got the temperature down to about 50% of what it first started with, and we're just going to simmer it for quite a while. You can probably see how it's starting to thicken up around the edges, and this is what you're really aiming for. You wanted to get all the oils to come to the top of the curry, and that's like a good indication that we're getting somewhere close to finishing. Well, that's enough of my jabbering. I'll continue cooking this curry, and we'll just add a little bit of music in the background. As always, thanks for watching and we'll see you on the next one.